What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? Welcome to the Six-Man Show Postgame Live, presented by Rock'em. Magic fall 97-84 in Houston. Wow, yeah, this was an interesting game. A game I think the Magic were actually not horrible in, obviously outside of the offense, right? That's a no-brainer, except for shooting the basketball and the offensive rebounds, right? Obviously, we're going to talk about that. Steven Adams with an outrageous night on the glass. By and large, though, the Magic competitive in this game, which is an improvement from the last couple weeks. Competitive against a very good basketball team. And I'm excited to get to talk to you about this game tonight. Welcome to the show. My name's Kevin. This is the Six-Man Show Postgame Live. It's our live postgame show after every single Orlando Magic game. Win, loss, early, late, doesn't matter. We're here. And so glad to get to hang out with you tonight. This show is brought to you by Rock'em. They're an amazing company based in Central Florida. They make socks and underwear, showcasing some of your favorite sports teams and other brands too, not just sports. But yeah, they make some wild, wacky, creative stuff, including stuff for your Orlando Magic. So definitely check them out at rock'em.com. And when you do, just use this code MAGIC20 because it gets you 20% off your order all Orlando Magic season long. It's some really good stuff at rock'em.com. Again, not just Magic stuff, but some of your other favorite teams as well. So definitely check them out at rock'em.com. Just be sure you use that code MAGIC20. I love the voices sounded so epic tonight on the postgame live. I'm recovering a bit, so it sounds a little low and raspy, but hey, some people might enjoy that. Here we go. Welcome to the show. Again, this game, very interesting. Defensively, I thought the Magic did very well tonight. So you give them credit for that. 2 games in a row that I think the Magic should be pretty happy with. The defense, you hold Houston to what did it end up being? 39% from the field. You hold them in the first half pretty well from behind the arc. Second half, not as much. But the 2 issues tonight, obviously the offensive rebound is going to be the focal point, the headline. Steven Adams goes off ended up with 11 offensive rebounds, 17 total rebounds, but 11 of them offensive. Şengün had 6 offensive rebounds. You give up a total of 20 offensive rebounds to the Houston Rockets compared to your 13, which on most nights, 13 offensive rebounds, that's not bad at all. You'll take that. But when the other team gets 20, that's a problem. And then obviously shooting the basketball, the Magic shoot 25% from 3, 8 of 32, and yet this was still a competitive basketball game, right? This was a 12-point lead with, I want to say, 7 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter. Still very much within reach. Magic had a couple of opportunities to get it into single digits, or I should say, get it to 10 maybe, and just were unable to crack through that. And the Rockets ended up pulling away late. So in some ways, I'm encouraged by this game because the Magic didn't play particularly well, especially, like I said, offensively, and yet they were right there with one of the best teams in basketball. On the flip side, though, you can also say nobody helped Paolo out tonight. Paolo ended up with 25 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. Not super efficient, but the most efficient scorer of the night for the Magic. Franz with a really, really tough game, 6 of 17 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3 for just 15 points. If Franz is able to get going just a little bit more, I feel like the Magic are neck and neck in this game with Houston, and it goes down to the wire. But unfortunately, that's not the way it went. And here we are. All right, let's check out the chat tonight. We got a couple super chats from our dear friend and fellow host of this show. Sam says 35 points over the last 24 minutes, awful. And then he corrects himself with another super chat and says, actually, over the last 28 minutes, even worse. Yeah. Excuse me, again, the offense tonight, just abysmal, which is ironic because it actually started pretty good. Magic shot the ball pretty well early in the first quarter there, just like on Saturday in Milwaukee. But as Orlando Magic basketball games typically do, if we're going to start hot, we're going to end cold. And so that's exactly what happened. Again, the Magic end up just 8 of 32 from 3 for 25%. Not good. Not good. All right, let's check out some of the chat tonight. See what we're thinking. Kevin Anton says, even Jeff Turner saying the Magic have caught the backboard on 3s a few times. Yeah. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. Matthew Thomas says this offense is criminal. Yes, it is. I'll give the Magic a little bit of a break tonight because the Rockets are one of the best defensive teams in the league. but not a huge break, okay? Because obviously the offense has been an issue for a long time, but especially the last 2 seasons. So the offense is still not good, but the Rockets defense is very good. So you got to give them some credit as well. I also got to give some credit to Jabari Smith Jr. Obviously, we've talked a lot about him over the years on the podcast, on the Sixth Man Show, just because of the whole draft thing in Paolo. And year 1 for Jabari was not good, but slowly and surely he's become quite a good NBA basketball player. And so got to give him credit. His shot looks great. His shot blocking looks very good. And again, that Rockets team has been really, really well put together. When you think about him and Şengün and Jalen Green, and obviously we didn't even see Van Fleet tonight, Dylan Brooks, all the Steven Adams, on nights like tonight. So you got to give the Rockets and their front office a lot of credit. They've accelerated their rebuild, I think, probably faster than even they expected, and so they're looking really, really good. I think they're a legitimate threat in the Western Conference. Like, if we were to see them in the Western Conference Finals, I would not be surprised at all. Not at all. I think they're very good. And I think they're built for the playoffs, too. Their defense, their size, their rebounding. Got a couple guys that are good crunch time players when healthy. I think it's a really good basketball team. All right, enough maybe glazing of the other team. And let's talk about our team, who really struggled offensively tonight. Luke says we can't breathe on them, but they foul us on every possession. This is, I think, probably... I'm trying to go through in my head the other teams in the league. I don't know that there's another team that the Magic will play this year that feels like they're playing against themselves, right? Houston is very physical, just like the Orlando Magic. And I agree. There were several possessions tonight that I felt the Magic got a tough whistle. I especially can't believe that the Rockets, I don't think they got called for a moving screen one time tonight. And the Magic got called for 2 or 3, and the Rockets were moving nonstop, especially Dylan Brooks. Like, go back and watch the tape. Dylan Brooks is moving on every possession, every screen. And maybe it's just because he's not a big man and he's able to get away with it because he's, a guard forward type, a wing. But, man, the dude is just moving. I mean, egregiously moving on every single screen he sets and got away with it all night. A couple other just bad calls, out-of-bounds calls. Both ways, by the way. A lot of just bad calls, but whatever. What can you do? Let's see what else we got here from the chat tonight. Oh, my gosh. Can't read that, man. Kevin says, you hold the Rockets to 97 points, but our offense just couldn't score enough again. Started off great, but went ice cold in the third. In fact, let's see. What was that third quarter? 24-16 in the third quarter. Rip, man. Not good. But yeah, again, like, this game was there for the taking. Like, you got to give credit to the Magic's defense. Again, you hold them to 39% shooting. You force 19 turnovers on the Rockets. And even though you give up a bunch of offensive rebounds, you still, if one other player is able to step up tonight, This is a close game. This is like a one-possession game in the final moments, coin flip to see who wins, right? Obviously, you first look at Franz. Again, I mentioned 15 points on 6 of 17 from the field. Is Houston's defense very good? Yes. Did Franz miss several shots tonight that he would usually make? Yes. I think both are true. And I think if you get an extra 7 points from Franz, like if Franz is able to go 9 of 17 from the field instead of 6 of 17 from the field, again, I feel like this is a one possession game down the stretch, coin flip to see who wins, right? So that's the part that I think is pretty frustrating. It's not like the Rockets blew you out. I know they led by as much as I think 18 or 19, but it didn't feel like a blowout to me, even though they bossed you on the glass. Even though they ended up shooting the 3-ball much better than you, it didn't feel like a blowout. I felt the Magic were competitive in this game, which again is an improvement considering how this team has played against really good teams over the last couple months. A couple people have mentioned this. The bench was atrocious. Good grief. The bench was really, really bad. Let's just look at the box score really fast. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. We already mentioned Franz, Paolo. Wendell with 8 points, 12 boards. I mean, doing the best he could most possessions. excuse me, on the glass against, monsters, Şengün and Steven Adams. KCP, good grief, man. Didn't even get a shot off in 21 minutes. That is outrageous. That is criminal. Crazy stuff. Again, I know Houston's defense is good, but you got to at least find a way to get a shot off. If you're getting paid $20-something million, you're playing 21 minutes in a game, you can't get a shot off. Come on, brother. Just added 1 rebound and 1 turnover. That's his stat line. 1 rebound, 1 turnover in 21 minutes. Come on, man. That's outrageous. Cole, 9 points tonight. 4 of 13 from the field. Not great. AB with 3. Caleb Houston, 5. All 5 of those were in garbage time minutes. Gary Harris knocked down a 3 tonight. Credit to him. Halfway to getting Luke Sylvia back on Twitter. If you know, you know. Goga ends up with 4 points. I wish Goga played more than 12 minutes. Was he perfect? No, but did he put a body on Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün pretty well in a lot of possessions? Yes. Tristan da Silva didn't score. Only 9 minutes for him. I don't know why Tristan's not playing more minutes. J.I. plays 14 minutes, did an outstanding job on Alperen Şengün, but only plays 14 minutes. I saw someone mention in the chat, a little bit earlier. I don't remember who it was. We'll get to that message, I think, in a second, that they want to see Jonathan Isaac play more minutes. I do too. However, think about the walk-off interview at the end of the first half with Kendra. Kendra asks him a question, and the very first words of his mouth were, I don't remember if it was like, I'm exhausted or I'm tired or something like that. Just speaking to the fact that he was feeling it after only playing, I don't remember how many first half minutes he played, but let's say he cut it in half. Maybe he played 7 minutes in the first half, and he's exhausted. Even if it's 10 minutes in the first half. I don't know what you expect to do with that. Like, the conditioning is still a struggle for Jonathan Isaac, and so that's why we're only seeing him play 14 minutes on a night like tonight when, again, you could have used him a lot more. Like, honestly, you could have used him double that. You could have used him 25, 28 minutes with the way he was playing Şengün tonight. So, yeah, that's tough. Trevelyan Queen, you got to give him credit. Came in the fourth quarter, hustled, made plays. Unfortunately, he was also the victim of the game-sealing moment there where I don't remember if it was a steal or just a run out or something, but he had a layup blocked by Jabari Smith Jr. Rockets come back the other end, hit a 3. I think that made it an 18-point game, something like that. I don't remember, 15, whatever it was, and pretty much was the nail in the coffin. Timeout, bench was dumped, and all that kind of stuff. So, unfortunately for him, but I thought he did play well in the moments that he was given. Got to give him credit for that. And then Jet Howard came in garbage time with 3 minutes. I came to this to point out the bench just not good. Like, 8. Let's see. If I get rid of Caleb Houston's numbers, let's do Anthony Black 3, Gary Harris 3, Goga 4. So that's 10, 18 points from the bench. I'll throw Trevelyan Queen in there just because he did play important minutes in the fourth. So, yeah, just not good enough. I also didn't love the fact that Mosley and his staff had multiple stretches of this game where it was a full bench rotation out there. No Cole, no Franz, no Paolo. Like, where is the offense going to come from? Where is it going to come from when it's Anthony Black, Gary Harris, Tristan da Silva, Goga and J.I., or Caleb Houston and Goga? Whatever iteration of it was. Where's the offense going to come from against one of the best defensive teams in the league with that lineup? Like, I really struggle with that one. And those minutes really cost the Magic tonight, big time. All right, back to the chat we go. Janine says, well, Saturday was fun. Yeah, it was. And again, that's why I'm struggling tonight, because I didn't think the Magic played horribly. They were outplayed in a couple key areas that ended up being the difference, right? Like, again, the offensive rebounding and the lack of shooting from the Magic was the difference in the game. I thought the defense was there. I thought the intensity was there. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Didn't get blown out. So you take the wins, I guess. Moral victories. Daniel says, Wendell, Butterfinger, Carter, gotta be out. Can't say it louder. Yeah, Wendell had a couple of those moments tonight. Eesh. Yeesh, yeah. Bad moments where he's missing either a good pass from somebody or a rebound slips out of his hands or whatever. Yeah, hands are tough. Swa says, I think Moses is going to stay. Steven Adams, but give them credit. They were physical and pushed us out of our spots. But we're going to look at the film and see what we can improve on. That's a pretty good guess there, Swa. That's pretty good. Christian says, where was our bench? Where was the help? Yeah, not good. Not good. Again, we just needed one more player other than Paolo Banchero to step up tonight. And I think this is a competitive one-possession game down the stretch and couldn't do it. Yeah, Nathan, this pulled. I'm just catching up to the chat. He said exactly what we just talked about in the box score. KCP. Oh, this is even funnier. Nathan says KCP and I combined for 21 minutes, 1 rebound and 1 turnover tonight. That's incredible. That's hilarious. Kevin says the officiating was horrible. Shout out to all the Kevins in the chat, by the way. I think we have 3 different Kevins in the chat. I'm a Kevin. Just Kevin's. I'm gonna turn this into the 6-man show Kevin reunion show. I don't know. There's a lot of Kevins out there. Shout out all my fellow Kevins. The Only Hero says another sub 100-point loss. I don't know. I kind of made peace with the season after the last losing streak, but I don't know. The offense was just unwatchable in the second half. It was very bad. Very bad. Virgo says, did not watch the game. What did I miss? Oh, we lost again. Yes, we did. We sure did. Yeah, not great. A lot of people talking about KCP, not good. Nesta says 26% from 3. Geez, yeah, not great. Janine says, you know how bad the refs are when they miss the out of bounds call off Dell, and the replay shows the ball bouncing off Dell's hands and knees. Yeah, that was terrible. Terrible. And the fact that the Rockets had to burn a challenge on that is just wild. Kevin says KCP is just getting minutes off of his name and contract. Yep. I think that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Luis Rosario says the only good thing about bad refs is they don't get picked to do playoff games. Yeah. Rough. Let's see. Daniel says, because there's no way we run it back with this roster. I just cannot imagine that happening. I can't. I know injuries could be used as an excuse, but I just cannot imagine that happens. I know a lot of people are fearful of that, and I understand why, but I just feel like this front office knows moves have to be made this summer. They have to. I don't know what they'll be, but I mean, come on. The eye test, like, the eye test, yeah. Daniel says, I feel Dell is the one that brings everybody down. He is not a real center, body language-wise and production-wise. He's a good bench power forward. I agree with the body language thing when Dell, I feel like, does tend to not just get frustrated, but I think lack confidence for large stretches, and he doesn't hide that very well, right? Yeah, I think I agree. Majestic says KCP definitely betting illegally. Rip. Yeah. The whole thing with his wife and parlays and yeah. Little dicey for sure. Gabrielle says KCP overtaking Gary Harris. Oh, where to go? Gary Harris for money made and points scored ratio is commendable. Yeah. Again, yeah. Making 20 whatever million it is this year. And not scoring, not even taking a shot is just wild, man. Wild. Michael says our players' 3-point regression from last season to this one should be studied by a sports psychologist. It's just unheard of, man. Unheard of. Let's check out some scores from around the league. Actually, let me look at the team stats here, see if there's anything that sticks out. Obviously, this third quarter, 24-16, that's a pretty big thing. Points in the paint, interesting. The Magic get 36 points in the paint to Houston's 28. That's so fascinating because the Rockets had 20 offensive rebounds and only 28 points in the paint. That's wild. Just it's also a testament to how many like tap outs they have where they would tap back out and get a 3. How many threes do they have off of offensive rebounds tonight? Too many. 10 fast break points for the Magic. They got out and ran a decent amount, but a couple of fast breaks just did not end up well. They really probably should have had 15 or 16 fast break points tonight. Rockets led by as many as 18. 27 bench points for the Magic. It didn't feel like that. Felt like we had 7, but, whatever. And then again, 19 turnovers for the Rockets led to 20 points off turnovers for the Magic. That's a great number. You feel really good about your chances most nights, especially when you consider the fact the Magic only had 8 turnovers and the Rockets only scored 4 points off turnovers. And yet the Magic lost by double figures. That's hard to believe, man. Let's check out the scores from around the league. Looks like we have a close game here. Wow. 1 possession game with 45 seconds left. Mavs, Spurs. That's an interesting one. Kings, Knicks just tipping off. Warriors, Blazers in the first half. As far as the final games go, here out east, the Hawks beat the Sixers. So that'll have some impact on the standings in a moment when we look at them. Celtics beat the Jazz. The Nets beat the Lakers. Interesting. Luka played, and the Nets still beat the Lakers. Wow. The Hornets beat the Miami Heat. Okay, another one that helps the Magic in the standings. Raptors beat the Wizards. The Bulls beat the Pacers. How about that? Grizzlies beat the Suns in a close one. And look at this right here. Nuggets beat the Thunder 140-127. That's a very impressive win for the Nuggets on the road, dropping 140 points as well. I kind of want to look at this box score really fast. Isn't it wild that on the same night, one team can score 140 and another team can score 84? Wow. I just want to look at this box score really fast. Jokic with 35, 18, and 8. Jamal Murray went off, 34 for him, 16 for Peyton Watson off the bench. Wow. That's a really impressive win for the Nuggets. What does it mean for the standings? Here we are. I'm not exactly sure if all of this is up to date. I think it is. Yeah, the Heat's loss is in there. Okay. So the Magic still sit at 8, but tonight it was a flip-flop. So the Hawks were 9th. The Heat were, is that right? No, that's not right at all. Hawks were 7th still going into the night. That's right. But yes, so it's Hawks 7, Magic 8, Heat 9. And what's super interesting above the Magic is that loss by the Pacers tonight puts them even with the Pistons. So the Pistons could jump into the 5 seed tomorrow. And heck, they're only a game back of 4. The Detroit Pistons are a game out of home court advantage. That is wild stuff. Wild stuff there. Big shout out to the Pistons for their season. They've been impressive. But yeah, this is where the Magic currently sit. Again, 7 games up on the 11 seed. So once again, we're just staring the play-in in the face. What is that? 66 games played, so 16 games remain. You're 7 games out of missing the postseason altogether, and 6.5 back of the 6 seed. Last couple thoughts here from the chat for the night before we call it. Let's see what we got here. Jalen says, if we run it back with this roster, we might as well get the Paolo return game tribute video ready now. Rip. That's hard to think about. But yeah, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine that happens. Luis Rosario says, if we don't get 3 to 5 new players this summer, we can expect Paolo to take conversations with other teams that are focused on winning. Yeah, I think 3 is a pretty good number. 4, possibly. 5 would be a lot. It's hard to shift 5 guys around in an NBA offseason. It's definitely possible, but I would guess 3 or 4 might be the number. Jalen says, the Pistons are who we are supposed to be. Guys, first off, I agree. What I was going to say was, if injuries don't hurt this team this season, I still think the Magic are in that, at least the 6th seed. I really do. They would still have a ton of flaws. The offense would still be bad. But I just cannot ignore missing Paolo, Franz, Jalen, and Mo for a significant number of games each. You can't ignore it. It doesn't excuse, obviously, how the team has played over the last month and a half, whatever it's been. But yes, you're exactly right. Pistons are who we are supposed to be. Houston, I think, is another team you could put in the same boat, although Houston pushed their timeline a little faster with some of the acquisitions they made, obviously thinking of Fred VanVleet. But yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, we'll see. Swa says, can we give Dwight Gary's contract at the Hall of Fame induction? That's pretty funny. That would be quite the turn of events at that Hall of Fame ceremony in 2 weeks. We'll see. But all right, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Another tough Magic L. Another tough offensive night. But again, I think the Magic played competitively. They fought hard. They played hard. Couldn't score the basketball. Couldn't rebound the basketball. And that was the difference. So it is what it is. Magic back in action Thursday. We get an extra day off this week. Thursday at New Orleans as this road trip continues. And then it's on to Friday in Minnesota with a big watch party at Stadium Club. We'll see you there. But until then, let's go Magic. Bye.